The second method that we can use for solving percents is something called the percent equation. And the percent equation is the part, or the is equal to the percent of the whole, or the percent multiplied by the of. One thing that's important to mention as a difference from the proportion is that in the equation, the answer will be decimals, not percents. Bless you. So for example, if you get an answer when you're solving with the equation, if you're trying to solve for the percent and you get something like 0.34, when you write your answer, make sure that you write that as 34%. And as a refresher, anything divided by 100, or multiplied by 100 in the case of a decimal, will get you to the percent. All right, so let's try those same problems using the percent equation. Again, we don't know the percent for the first one. We have the of, or the whole, and we have the is, or the part. So this time, we'll take that part, or the is, and multiply it by, well, we don't know the percent, times the of, or the whole. After that, we now have an equation that we can solve. So in this case, we'll divide by 56 on both sides. And if you crunch the numbers, you should end up with 0.75. Again, it's important to ask yourself when you're solving for whether you're solving for a percent, because again, answers using the equations will be decimals. So instead of writing 0.75, we know the percentage, the answer would be 75%. All right, so for the second one, we're again given the percent. We're given the is, and we need to find the of. So to fill into our formula, we have 17.5 equal to 125% times x. If you're given a percent, in order to do multiplication, you have to write it as a decimal. So if we divide 125% by 100, we'll end up with 1.25. So 1.25 is the same thing as 125%. Now from there, we can solve to get to our final answer. So we'll divide by 1.25 on both sides. And if you do the work on your calculator, you should end up with the same answer, 14, that we ended up with using the proportion. Okay, last but not least, we'll have you guys pause and try this one on your own, and then come back to see if you did it correctly. So we're given the is, we're given the percent, and we're finding the whole, or the of. So we know our equation would be 10 equals 15% times the of, or the whole number. Again, 15% can be written as 0.15. So to solve the equation, we'll have 10 equals 0.15x. Divide both sides by 0.15. And again, we'll end up with our answer of x equals 66 2/3. Okay, so hopefully taking a look at all of this has been a good refresher on how to use and manipulate to find the percent, the part, or the whole, or the base. All right. The final thing we're going to talk about in this section is something called interest. When you deposit money at a bank, you earn interest on your money. There are two types of interest: simple interest and compound interest. Simple interest is calculated once every year, and it does not become part of the principal. Now, you might be wondering, what's the word principal? Principal is like the original amount at the beginning, and then after the beginning, the principal is the amount in the account. So when you have money that's saved, the principal is what you actually earn interest on. To calculate simple interest, well, there's actually 4 parts to the formula. There's the interest earned, there's the principal, which again is the original amount, there's the rate, which is like how much money you're making. It's usually almost always given as a percent, and then our time. And time is almost always measured in years. And just to return back, interest earned, well, in America, we're earning dollars. The formula that relates all of these together is I equals PRT. So again, the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the time. All right, so we'll take a look at one example problem, and then we'll pick up and practice more on this next week. So Taylor has been babysitting since 5th grade. She saved $1,000 and wants to open an account at the bank so she will earn interest. Simple Bank pays simple interest at a rate of 10%. How much money will she have after 1 year, after 2 years, and after 5 years? All right, so we can already tell there's actually 3 questions. So after 1 year, to figure that out, we know we have to find the interest, the principal, the rate, and the time. These are the 4 variables. We are given 3, and we'll have to find the 4th. So it asks how much money she'll have after 1 year. Well, we're going to need to find how much interest is she going to make. Her principal amount, how much she started with, was $1,000. The rate that she's making her money at is 10%. I'm just going to start writing that as a decimal from the beginning. After 1 year would be times 1. All right, so if we multiply all of these together, we'll end up with 100. She will get $100 of interest. So after 1 year, she had $1,000. She adds on 100. She would end up with a final answer of $1,100. Okay, so go ahead and pause. You can try the same thing for 2 years on your own and 5 years, and then come back to check if you got it correct. Okay, so hopefully you figured out after 2 years she would earn $200 for a total of $1,200. And after 5 years, she would have earned $500 for a total of $1,500. All right, so that's just kind of the basics, and simple interest is basic. You might notice that she's earning the same amount every year, and it's not really changing beyond that. When we come back next week, we'll start to talk about another type of interest that's a little more complicated, and look forward to exploring that.